Welcome to People Stories Success. I'm your host, Coach Hassan, and it's my pleasure to welcome our guest today, Brooke Elder. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun to just get on here and start chatting with you.
Yes, I enjoy this very much, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you and the services that you provide. So, Brooke, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing and where you grew up, and so we get to know you a little bit.
Okay, well, I am a Utah native. I have lived here my whole life. So I grew up, I am the oldest of four, and I've always had this entrepreneur spirit about me. When I was in fifth grade, I would make little suckers and sell them to all my friends at recess, and that was like my first real business, So,
Nice.
um, but I've always loved teaching and education, and so like I've loved little kids. I've always loved babysitting when I was younger. So I went to school to become an elementary school teacher. It was just really fun to go out there and teach kids. I taught first grade for 4 years, and I just loved it. Then when I started having my own family, I decided I was going to be the stay-at-home mom. And being that entrepreneur, after about a year of being the stay-at-home mom, I got super bored and wanted just something else to do. So I've always had little businesses on the side. So I had a design company that I did for a little while. I did graphic design for people. Then I moved into web design and had a web design company for a while.
Mhm.
And then I got the opportunity to look into network marketing. And I joined a network marketing company and really wanted to build it up online because at the time my husband was a nurse and he was working nights and he was working about 80 hours a week. So we didn't see him at all. So I didn't have time to build up my business like the normal way you would build a network marketing business. So I had to do it all online. And so I took the skills and everything that I had learned from doing web design and online marketing for other people, and I just applied it into my business. So that's kind of my entrepreneur journey of how I've got to a little bit where I'm at now.
Wow, that's really that's great because a lot of our listeners and viewers, they're oftentimes teachers or working in corporate world, and they want to sometimes learn more about getting into it. Let's say if somebody, for example, who's a teacher and may have some free time during summer. How would you say you got started in entrepreneurial your venture? Because your background was more in education, correct?
Right. Yes, it
Okay.
is.
So how did you search online? How did you educate yourself and kind of get involved in that?
Well, I think especially for teachers and people who are in education,
Mhm.
they love to teach other people, but they also love to learn themselves.
Yes.
And so I just learned everything I could. I mean, back then when I started, this was 10 years ago, there wasn't a ton of online courses out there like there is now. Now there's so much information.
Yes.
Um, but I just found everything I could about online marketing. There was a couple like little online courses that companies were putting out that were like $20. You could learn SEO and things like that. So I started learning all of those things, and just the trial and error that I have found from marketing other companies. I had like a clothing company who came to me and I marketed them for a while and built them up. So just trying to find anything I could on YouTube of how to build a brand online and just applying that into what I was doing in my network marketing business. And that's what kind of fueled the fire.
That's a great transition. You mentioned network marketing, entrepreneurial ventures, and then network marketing. Tell us a little bit about what is network marketing and how did you get involved in that?
So network marketing it has lots of different names. There's direct sales, MLMs. And it's basically what I love about network marketing is it's kind of like the stepping stone for entrepreneurship because it's very low cost to join. They have all the customer service done for you. They have all the products are done for you. So really it's like kind of like starting a franchise without spending the hundreds of thousands of dollars to start one. And you can work at your own pace and things like that. I know lots of network marketing people get like a bad rap because they can be very spammy and stuff. And that's just because they don't know how to market. And that's kind of what my mission is to teach those people how to actually market in a way that is authentic to who they are and not to become that like spammy network marketer, you know?
Absolutely. And let's talk about that, your purpose and mission, because I had the opportunity to go to your website, take a look at a little bit about you. So could you, for our listeners and viewers, could you tell us a little bit about your mission and purpose?
Yeah. So my mission, like I said, is to help network marketers really understand who they are. And I think this is like, for any of your listeners who are like stay-at-home moms, or they maybe still working a corporate job, but they're still trying to be a mom too, that it's a really hard position to be in. And I found that a lot of stay-at-home moms, they go to network marketing because they're looking for something to fill them. They're looking for that purpose in their life. Not that being a stay-at-home mom is a bad thing or that they can't find purpose from that. But when you give so much to your children and you have nothing else to fill your cup, it puts you in a really hard situation. And it makes it so I've seen this in people who even have grown children that once their children are gone, they don't know who they are. And so they have to go through this process of finding out who they are. And by becoming an entrepreneur and starting your own business, like you're going to find out who you are really quick because you're going to figure out what you're made of because it's not an easy thing at first. So my mission is to help people like that who are still, they're in their network marketing company, they're trying to figure things out, and they really just need some direction on who they are, what their purpose is, why they're here. I really believe that everyone is here for a purpose, and they can use their own experiences and their own like things that have happened to them to be able to help and share with others. So that way everyone can learn from each other's experiences.
And that's the exciting thing because everybody has a unique story and not a single person is the same.
Right.
And so I bet that's one of the things they really look forward to, right? Getting to know individual and their goals. So if somebody is at that point where they want to start a business, or let's say they already have a business and they want to learn more about network marketing and maybe even start working with you, or take a look at some of your courses, what would you recommend their first steps to be?
Well, the first thing that I do with all my clients is I have them first, we look at their mindset because mindset is so important. And most of the time they have fears that are going to be coming up. And so we have them address those fears. And I tell them, there's that book that's 5 Seconds of Courage, and just to do things even though it scares you. So I tell a story in my program about I actually had this huge fear of fish, which I know sounds like really dumb, but when I was 2 years old, I was sailing on a catamaran and I was trying to put my feet in the water and I slipped off and the boat went off without me. Oh. And I swear that there were fish sucking on my toes. So ever since then, fish have always scared me. And so when I was trying to teach this concept of like, do things even though it scares you, I went up to this lake that had carp, and carp are not like nice, like looking fish. They're really ugly, and there was this one spot that had tons of carp. And so I put my feet in the water for 5 seconds, and it was the most terrifying thing I have ever done. But it made me believe that I can do anything after facing that fear. And so that's the biggest thing that I teach people at the very beginning is as you go along this journey, and I'm sure you know with all the things that you've done, that there's going to be times where it's going to be scary and there's going to be things that you're really afraid of. But if you can just push through those, what's on the other side is so much more amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's, I often say that without failure, you cannot have success.
Yes.
And, facing those things that scare you is part of that process of, getting to know who you are and what you're capable of. And we all are
Right.
capable of doing great things. So tell us a little bit about, let's say if somebody wants to really get to know your products and services and they want to connect with you, what would be their first steps?
So the first step would be to, I have a webinar that kind of walks through everything that we stand for here at Social Tenacity and kind of what our mission is. So they can go to socialtenacity.com/webinar and then they can watch that. It really goes through how to build out your business and build out an audience and really understand what makes a good, successful business and how to do it easy and automated. Because that's the other thing I'm all about is automation.
Yes.
With 4 kids myself, like you have to automate your business.
Passive income as well as trying to scale the business, right?
Yes, right, exactly.
And oftentimes people are getting introduced to the concept of webinars, but I would imagine your webinar is free, correct?
Yes, it is free.
Okay. Because that's something that somebody can go out to your website, watch the webinar, and get to know you in a more detailed way, and there's no cost to them at this point.
Right, exactly. And it really is, I'm just there to provide the information to help people. And then if the next step after that is if they want to chat with us and see what we can do for them, then we can help you. But it's not like there's a sales pitch or anything like that. It really is just here's some free information to help you build your business up.
Absolutely. And oftentimes as I work with individual entrepreneur or business, I always evaluate, is this a good fit for both of us? Sometimes a business or individual may not be a good fit for my business. I would imagine that might be also applicable to you as well.
Yes, exactly.
Connecting to the right audience, and that's why I think that webinar concept is excellent, because somebody gets to see you and they get to learn from you at no cost, and they invest some time into it. And that's really part of growth and education.
Right, exactly.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for that. And so let's talk a little bit about, I went to your YouTube channel and I saw you had a lot of testimonials there. So tell us maybe a couple of examples of your client success stories, something that they came to you with a problem that they needed to solve. And tell us, in your own words, how were you able to help that individual and how did they succeed at the end?
So the first person that comes to mind is Kelsey. And she came to me when she was in network marketing and she was making about $300 a month. And she really wanted to scale and she wanted to leave her job. She was working about 60 hours a week at a hospital and had 2 young kids, and she wanted to be able to stay home with them more. And that's a lot of the reasons why people get into network marketing too, is because it's a way that they can make money and still be at home with their kids. And so she came through our program. We really helped her understand who her target audience is, because before she was just marketing to everyone. And I think that's the biggest thing in network marketing that they teach, is just that the opportunity or the products there for everyone and everyone can use them, which at a corporate level, like they kind of have to teach you that way. But when you get down to your own business, like you really need to figure out who your niche is, who your target audience is, who you really want to help, and then talk to those people. So when we really just helped her change her message, she went from $300 a month to $15,000 a month in 4 months.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Not bad at all. So,
And did how much time would you say that she had to invest into her business, approximately, to get to that point? And everybody, I know everybody's different, and
right.
sometimes things fall into place. But just to get an idea.
So she was spending about an hour every morning working like talking to people on Facebook and things like that, and posting in different groups. And then probably, I think, about an hour or so in the evening, she would go and answer people's questions. So that's like what, 10 hours a week?
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. So, and I know that when somebody comes to you, they start with working on the mindset, right? That's a big part of it, and getting them ready for the journey, which is
right.
lifelong, I assume.
Yes.
After that, do you have like a curriculum that they go through step by step, or do you kind of customize for the individual client? How does it work from that point on?
So we do have curriculum that they go through. It can be customized because we have one-on-one coaches that works with them as well. So like we have a copywriting coach, we have a Facebook coach, and then I have a whole team of like mindset coaches, and then I have a client success director that helps them and works with them. So there's lots of support through the system. So that way they can get, a little bit more customized help and things like that. But there is a curriculum they go through. So once we go through mindset, we really help them figure out their brand, their target market, what their message is going to be. And then from there, we translate it into creating a video series. So that way they collect people's email addresses, they put them through a video series and through the video series, that's where their audience gets to know, like, and trust them. And really understand what their mission is. And it's a way that they can, teach them just like on a webinar. And then at the end, they have the opportunity to reach out to them and see if they want to work with them.
Yes, it's really interesting because there are certain proven ways that entrepreneurs can go through to create an online business. And being an educator, I mean, you know how to teach, and you enjoy that, right? That's something that's part of you. And coming kind of over to the business world, you see that the potential there, right? Because you see all these people who are now, I think a lot of people are still not aware of the opportunities online.
Right.
This is something that has taken off, I would say, within the last 10, 15 years,
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a great mission to have, to help those who can actually create like an alternate source of income, and maybe even transfer over to it full time if they wish. And the fact that you take them through the steps, starting with a mindset, on with the steps of the business. And it's not just you have a team that helps and supports you. I think that makes it a very value-added service for your client.
Well, and the thing that I found too is even people who have their own business and are entrepreneurs, they want to look for something that is going to bring in more passive income. I think there was some rule of thumb out there that you need to have like 7 different streams of income, and network marketing is a really good thing to add on because you can build it up passively. So it takes some time, just like any other business, to really build it up at the beginning. But you can get to a point where it just becomes passive income. So I found that a lot of people, even who are coaches that are trying to help other people build up their businesses, they're adding in a network marketing company as well to bring in another stream of income.
Yes. And, one thing I noticed, I viewed your website, and there are a number of things. One is you have courses, and I believe you have free courses there as well.
Yes.
Free course. So, people can come and not only just see your webinar, but they can also take a look at the free course and get an understanding of how you're teaching individuals, right? So they get an understanding of your style of teaching, which is great. Another thing is that you have a blog. as part of your website. So you're constantly putting out information that's relevant. And I would say in the technology world that we live in today, things are constantly changing, right?
Oh, yes, for sure.
Which, I mean, to me, it's kind of exciting because, it's never the same, but that also means reading every day, staying on top of, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking earlier and we said, educators like to learn, right?
Right.
And we actually learn as we teach. That's what I found, that when I teach,
Mm-hmm.
I learn. Not only just from the material that I teach, but also from students that I teach. I learn from my students. So I would imagine that applies to you as well when you work with clients. You're helping them build a business, but you're also probably also learning from them as well.
Oh, yes, for sure. There's so much that I learn. And we update our course all the time because things are changing. And so that's one thing that I don't know of a lot of other coaches that do this with their programs, but whenever things change, like my clients get access to all of those changes and everything. So if all of a sudden tomorrow Facebook changes something and it's like this huge thing that we need to redo the whole program because what we did teach doesn't work anymore, then they get access to all of those updates as well.
Oh, that's great. I wanted to just get an example of a business that one of your students are building, just to get an idea of type of clients that you serve, just so the audience gets to know, okay, Brooke is helping in these different industries. So can you give us one more example of somebody in a certain industry that you're helping them building their business?
Yeah. So one girl who just finished the program, Haley, she is with Rodan & Fields. So that's a network marketing company. And we actually help a lot of consultants in Rodan & Fields. But we helped her to really create her brand. And her brand is Strong Moms and Confident Daughters. And her mission is really to help moms of these like tween girls and teenage girls, because when you get to that point and you're a teenage girl and you start getting acne and all this stuff, like the world comes to an end, and Rodan & Fields can really help those girls in that situation to build their confidence because they have beautiful skin. And so we've helped her really create that brand and create a Facebook group around it. So that way she can then still market her products and stuff, but she's doing it in a way where she's bringing value and service to other people.
Oh, great. That's a great example. Thank you for that. So do you find that the clients who come to you, do they go through, let's say, 6-month or 1-year course, and then they kind of go on their own? Or do you find that some clients actually stay with you and go with you month to month? Because as we talked about, online business is always evolving, changing, right? So
Right.
what do you find for most of your students? How do they work typically?
So the program that I have, it's 3 months long. So we work with them for those 3 months. And then after, we do offer like a month to month that they can continue on and still get help and access to my entire support team and things like that. So it's about, I would say, probably half and half. Some people are like, I got this, I'm ready, I'm just going to go for it. But we do offer, like, with all the changes that Facebook made in January, there were a lot of things that we needed to change to the program. And so we offered all of our alumni to come back into the program and be able to get the support and the help that they needed, because so many things had changed. And so, like, I'm not one to just have someone come into a program and be like, okay, see you later, good job. I want to make sure that they get all the support and the help that they need, because my goal is that they are successful.
Oh, that's, wonderful. I like the purpose, mission you have, and the fact that you're helping so many in starting a business is a great thing. So, just we're wrapping up now, and I wanted to ask you a few things about, oftentimes, I talk to people and they're interested in looking into the online business aspect of it, but they're so busy with their day-to-day work, whether it be in their family lives or in their work situation, when they're struggling with time management and trying to do their best and be their best. What would you recommend for somebody like that who still wants to do something online, but they're just struggling to make that balance?
Well, time management is actually one of my favorite things. And that's one of the things we teach in our course as well, is how to balance everything. Because a lot of my clients that come in, they're trying to start a business, they have another job, they're still trying to be mom and taking kids places and stuff. And it gets to be a lot. So the biggest thing with time management that I found that I absolutely love is to do time blocking. And so you set up certain times where like, hey, this is where I'm going to work on my business. This is where I'm going to be mom. This is where I work my job. And if you really like kind of like think about it as like buckets of time, then when you're working on your business, you don't feel guilty because you're not like being with your kids. And when you're with your kids, you don't feel like you're guilty because you're not working on your business, because you have those certain times set up. And really, if I didn't do that in my own life, I think I would go crazy because I wouldn't be able to do all the things that I do. People ask me all the time, Brooke, how do you get everything done that you do? And it's because I do this time blocking where I set aside specific times. And then when you do that, it takes that guilt. I think women have a little bit harder time with that guilt of like, I should be doing that when I'm doing this. And so when you have those buckets of time set up, it takes that guilt away.
So if nothing else, that's, I think, one key takeaway for our viewers and listeners is that time blocking. And there's so much more that they can go into, and I would highly recommend for them to get in touch with you. And, just kind of talking to you, I get a sense that you're a very positive person, a lot of energy. How do you maintain that? We live in a very stressful world in general. How do you generate that energy and the positive feelings that you provide to your students? How do you do that?
Well, every morning I call it a magic morning. I love Disneyland, and you get to go into Disneyland an hour early if you have this magic morning ticket. So that's kind of what I call it because it just makes me happy. But every single morning I have about an hour to an hour and a half where I just work on me. And I have to wake up early because I have so many things that I have to do, with all my kids, especially during the summer when they're home. Like I need to have that time. But in my magic morning, I read quotes that are uplifting quotes. I read books that are uplifting. I have a morning formula that I read that it talks about the person that I want to become. So it's not the person that I am now, but it's the person that I want to be. So that way, every day I am focusing on being that person and being positive and the changes that I want to make in the world and all the people that I want to help. So it really walks through all of that. And it has people make their vision boards with all the pictures and stuff of what they want, like have that as part of it. So I look through that to see who's the person that I'm really trying to become. And then I strive to be that every day. And that can become a little bit overwhelming. So what I do is I just focus on 3 things every day. So the first thing that I focus on is one thing that I can do in my business. And that's really the most important thing I need to do. And that's it. Then the next thing I focus on is one thing for my family, because then I don't feel like I'm neglecting them. And maybe it's one thing that I do for my entire family. Like today I'm taking my kids swimming. That's my one thing I'm doing for my family. Yes. And then I also focus on one thing I can do for myself every day. And that was one at first that I was a little bit hesitant to do because I'm like, that's a little selfish. But when you realize how much self-care really does play a part into your life, that self-care part and doing one thing for yourself really is important. And I had a friend once told me, you can't have $1 million business without having $1 million self-care. And that's always stuck with me, that I want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. And that's why taking that hour every single morning on working on me and filling myself up, because you can't give from an empty cup. Right. So you have to fill yourself up first. And once you fill yourself up first, then you can give from the overflow. Then you never feel depleted. You never feel like people are taking advantage of you because you filled yourself up first. So that's how I do it.
That's excellent. That's a huge lesson right there, because, you teach mindset, but you're actually doing that yourself on a daily basis to maintain who you are and who you're
Mhm.
becoming, right? So that's, I think, a huge plus for clients that are coming to you to see, okay, this is how Brooke is doing it, and she's doing it every day. So it's not just you do it one time and you're done. It's building
Right.
yourself up. But I think it can be fun, and it can be it can build yourself, from within, right? So then, things happen to all of us, right? We all have challenges, and life brings a lot of challenges to us. But when you have that inner core that's strong, it helps you get through that.
Yeah. And it's really fun when you put things on like your vision board, or you write down, like, one of the things I had is that I was going to live in a house up in the mountains. And 4 months ago, like, it came true, and we have our house up in the mountains, and it's awesome. And it was just amazing to see something that I had focused on every single day for so long. All of a sudden it's true, and you get to take it off your board. Like, it's super fun.
Wonderful. Congratulations on that. So
Well,
another thing
thanks.
checked off the list.
Yep.
One thing I do want to ask is the people that you surround yourself with, right? I believe that's very, very important. 3 or 4 people that you interact with on a regular basis, and those people be of quality, not draining from you, but also they're, it doesn't have to be perfect all the time, but it has to be people of certain type of mindset. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, like, I'm sure you've heard, I think it was Stephen Covey that said, like, you are the equivalent of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. Right. And so as I started this entrepreneur journey, like, I always strive to find people who really are better than who I am. And so, because then if you're hanging out with people who are better than you, then it just makes you rise to their level. And so I have done that by, like, investing in coaches, because that's been the biggest thing, is the environment is so important of who you are around. And even in our program, that's the thing that people have said the most, is we have this amazing Facebook group of all of our clients, and how all of them help and build and lift each other. And it's because that they're all working towards a common goal. And so I love being in masterminds and being with other business owners, even if they aren't even similar to what I'm doing, but they are looking for the same goals that I am, and they're striving for the same things. And that is really important, to find a community like that to help you and lift you up, because that's what's going to help you on those days where you feel like, hey, this is just not worth it anymore, and I don't think I can do this. You have those people to help and support you.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. That, and I think everybody goes through that, of those days that are, you get all those challenges come at you. So, well, thank you for sharing that. It was a pleasure meeting you, Brooke, and
Yeah, you too.
I look forward to collaborating with you and staying in touch with you. Give our audience your information, where they can connect with you, whether it be Twitter, LinkedIn, your website. Please share your information.
So you can just go, my website is socialtenacity.com. And I also have a Facebook group that I share a lot of these different ideas and things like that I have. And you can go to the Facebook group. It's just prosperousdirectsales.com. And that will take you into our Facebook group. And that's a great way to connect there as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And if you ever want to come back to give us an update on your business and various success stories, this story, the podcast and the YouTube channel is about people, stories, and success. So we'd be happy to have you back.
Awesome. I would love to. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Brooke.